Welcome to a World of Good podcast. I'm Nate Tatman.
And I'm Andrew Gale.
And we are two friends
who love Jesus,
care about the church,
and travel the world to share stories of people who do the same.
Our conversations happen in all kinds of places.
Like a coffee shop and an airport terminal.
Or even the back of a crowded taxi.
But no matter where we go, from Argentina to Zimbabwe,
we capture stories of the good God is doing around the world.
And we hope those stories will do you a world of good. Welcome to a World of Good podcast. This is our trailer. We just want to tell you what you're getting into. I'm Andrew Gale, and I get to be joined here by the wonderful Nate Tatman.
Hey, thank you, Andrew, for that great introduction. And I am very excited about this podcast and doing this with you. And it's just going to be fun to get to interview and talk to people all over the world and to hear what God is doing in their local context and ministry.
Absolutely. And the reality is we've already recorded our entire first season. So we've had all of these incredible conversations over the last few months. And now we get to share those conversations with people in the coming months. And so I'm just so excited for the opportunity for people to hear the stories of things that are happening around the world.
Yeah, for sure. So as I mentioned, my name is Nate Tatman, and I am the Mission Advancement Pastor at County Line Church of God, located in Northeast Indiana, just outside of Fort Wayne, if you know the area. And I've been on staff there for 12 years. And for the last 10 years, I have served as a missions pastor, working both locally and globally. And so much of my context has been in the local church. However, our family is about ready to make a big transition, a big move.
Yeah. We're sitting in your transition home.
You've
sold your home.
We are. We have already sold our home. We're in the process of fundraising. And July of 2020, we are planning to move to Madrid, Spain, and work in the Europe and Middle East region with the Three Worlds team. So, I mean, really, my main motive in doing this podcast is to be on the front lines learning and asking questions and trying to figure out a lot of this stuff. And so I'm just excited I get to do it with you. And we get to learn together, and then we get to share with our friends what we're learning.
Absolutely. And both of us actually started, a lot of our missions experience happened at the practical local church level. I started as a missions pastor. That's where we first met. I was a missions pastor at a church in Indianapolis, Church of the Crossing. And now I'm the executive director of Global Strategy, which is an organization that works globally with the Church of God. But what I think is neat about both of us is that we are people that have been practically engaged with missions. So why are we doing this? One of the reasons that we want to do a podcast is that we want to share the stories of things that are happening around the world. I think oftentimes people don't realize what's going on. I hear people in churches all the time say, I had no idea that X, or I had no idea that, that this was happening. And so we want to be able to share those stories, both as an encouragement to the local church, as well as a challenge to the local church to be aware of what's happening around the world.
Well, and in addition to that, I think the other thing that I'm excited about is the stuff that we do hear about in the news, the negative stuff that we hear about in the news when we hear about terrorism and bombs and natural disasters and things like that. The other side that we don't hear about is the local church. How are those things impacting and affecting the local church, the pastors, the Christians, and people on the ground? And so that's one of the things that we want to try and do is try to share that side of the story and see the good that is coming out of those seemingly negative happenings.
Yeah, I kind of smile because I think the name of our podcast is A World of Good, and the first 2 episodes are about persecution and the church. But the reality is we get to hear the stories of a missionary couple that's working with the church on the front line that's really seen incredible growth amidst persecution. And so it's really, asking the question of what does this mean, not just for me as a church, but what does this mean for the global church?
Yeah, and then I think soon after that we talk about natural disaster tornado that ripped through southern Ohio, but there again, how is the local church coming to the aid of the community and being on the front lines of the cleanup and all that kind of stuff? So yeah, it's what may seem like negative and bad things happening, we want to talk through what God is doing through those events.
And one of the things that I think will be fun for people is the different locations that we find ourselves in. Like I said, we've already recorded season 1, which has included the back of a rental car, right? You were in the back of a rental car driving
through Bulgaria.
I sat on a porch under a tree in Botswana and drinking juice and having cookies and talking to a pastor. I mean, we found ourselves in pretty unique locations to have conversation. And so we will continue to do that as we go through this podcast of the different places that we find ourselves.
And those kind of happen by necessity.
Yeah, right.
But so now it's kind of turned into this, okay, what unique place can we
where's the most
interview
ridiculous
from?
place I could do an interview? That's awesome.
And right now, as you mentioned, we're in my house, and my dog apparently sees somebody outside.
Yeah,
and,
well, that's good.
And she's barking at him. She's a nice little guard dog.
Well, we want to let you know our first episode is February 3rd. We'll have a new episode every other Monday from February to June. So we hope that you'll join us throughout the season.
Lots of great content, lots of great people that we hope to introduce you to and their stories. And we know that you are going to get something out of it. So we're excited to be doing this, and we're excited that you are coming along with us.
For more information, you can find us at chogglobal.org/aworldofgood. Make sure you go on there and subscribe so that you can get every new episode in your inbox. And if you ever want to email us, gspodcast@chog.org. We would love to receive your emails with questions, thoughts, stories you would love to hear. We would love to hear from you so that we can feature those on our episodes as well.
All right. I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you February 3rd.